During the fall and the winter and all throughout the holidays, roasted vegetables are popular, except they've changed. Now they're root vegetables. I'm gonna show you how to prep them up. We're gonna roast them, get a nice caramelization on them, and then we're gonna finish them with a fantastic herb butter. They're gonna be absolutely amazing. Just like anything, I want you to find out what's on sale and what's available. For this recipe, I've got a bunch of delicious root vegetables. I've got Brussels sprouts, carrots, parsnips, celeriac root, potatoes, onions, and these are root vegetables that grow in the ground, so give them a little rinse first. But you could also use things like turnips or rutabaga or sweet potatoes. The point is to find the vegetables you like to hook up this dish. You get that roast and finish with the butter, it's gonna taste amazing no matter what it is. So let's start with some prep. For the Brussels sprouts, I'm simply going to slice them in half. Next, we've got some parsnips. Yes, they look a little bit like carrots, but they're white fleshed. We are gonna simply peel those. And then to cut them, what I like to do is slice up on the skinny end until it starts to get a little bit fatter. Then go ahead and quarter that big end and then slice through. And now on to the celeriac root. I know this thing is gonna look a little bit crazy. Smell it, close your eyes and smell it. I mean, it smells like celery. It's so good and adds awesome flavor and complementing flavors at that to the rest of this dish. To prep it up, we're gonna simply cut off the bottom end, give it a little flip, cut off the top end. We sort of prepare it like a pineapple. You want to carve the outside rough skin completely off. Don't try to peel this with a peeler, it's not gonna work. Its skin is super tough and rigid. Once you're to this point and the peelings are off, we are going to slice through it. Remember, everything in this dish should be bite size. And what we want to do then is simply make 1-inch cubes. So slice it again, then simply turn it and then give a nice slice. I like to do it on a little bit of a bias, a little bit of an angle, just to make it look a little nicer. Next, I've got some tri-colored baby carrots. You need to take off the huge green end. You know, it looks like Bugs Bunny was chomping on it. Take the ends off of those and then just simply peel them with a peeler. I'm just gonna cut them into 1-inch slices on a bias. Again, I just think it looks a little bit nicer. Go ahead and add it to the bowl with all the other vegetables. Now I've got some tri-colored baby potatoes. We are gonna slice those in half. And then last but not least, a red onion. Just cut the ends off, cut it in half, and then we're gonna take nice thick slices through it. Add it to the bowl with the rest of the vegetables. We've got a few other things to do. And now what I'm going to do is add in some olive oil to completely coat up these vegetables. Gonna help brown them up really, really nicely. And then of course, we're gonna season it with salt, pepper, mix it around using a spoon, your hands, whatever you got lying around. We wanna make sure everything's coated so that it roasts nice and evenly and that it's seasoned perfectly with each bite. And then, since I've got quite a bit of vegetables here, I've got 2 cookie sheet trays lined with parchment paper. We're gonna evenly distribute the vegetables between these pans. And let me stop right there. Comies, the reason I've divided these vegetables between 2 sheet trays and not stacked it up on one is because I want it to perfectly caramelize. I don't want it to steam, and that's what's gonna happen when all those vegetables are stacked onto each other. But when they're laid out across the pan, that's when that browning occurs. And that caramelization is gonna bring out all the natural sugars in these vegetables, making them absolutely delicious. So continue to spread them out all over the sheet tray, and then it's time to roast up in the oven. I'm going at 450 degrees, gonna take in between 25 and 28 minutes. We want a nice brown on them, but we don't wanna cook them until they're mushy. This could be a little bit tricky, so keep an eye on them. Go ahead and take the vegetables out, and you can see that they have these perfect golden brown sear marks all over them. This is gonna help take the flavor department to a whole new level with this. And just like I always say, understanding these fundamental cooking techniques like perfectly oven roasted is gonna help make you an amazing, well-rounded cook so that you can make anything homemade from scratch and it just tastes better. I always say it. Now what we're gonna do is finish off with some butter. If you remember in the past, I made a grilled T-bone steak. I also hooked up a caramelized onion, lemon, thyme compound butter. I always make extra, and I always tell you to save it. Put it in the freezer, pull it out when you need it, just like with vegetables like this. So go ahead and add little pads of this butter all over the vegetables. And then you simply want to mix them in with a spoon, let all those delicious flavors flow through the vegetables, seasoning them and enhancing the flavor to a whole new level. And guess what? I've made a ton of different compound butters. Check out my truffle butter on my website or the tarragon butter I made for grilled lobster. All of these would be incredible in these roasted vegetables. It's about using those things that you've already made to hook up these veggies. They're delicious. You're gonna love them. To plate them up, I'm just gonna simply take them out and put them right into a bowl. And of course, I'm gonna garnish off with a little greenery. I've just got some diced up chives and parsley. Absolutely delicious caramelized oven roasted root vegetables with some herb butter. These would go incredibly well with my chicken saltimbocca. So check out that recipe and I'll see you there.